Hey, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. Got two great guests on the Zoom video call this morning to talk about the North Mason Regional Fire Authority Fire Chief Beau Bakken and new to the force, Lacey Newman. Lacey, how are you? And Beau, hello.
How are you, Jeff? I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Beau, we got a couple things to talk about, but first let's introduce everybody to Lacey.
Oh, perfect. I know on your show you've had Jeremy Hicks on for quite a few times, updating us on fire issues, Fire Prevention Week, talking about different things that we've been doing here in the North End. And Jeremy got a promotion and took a job with Mercer Island as the fire marshal over there, which is a big deal for him. I'm so excited for him. But who I am excited to introduce, who we've been working over the last couple months to kind of procure, is a new, I don't want to say Jeremy Hick, but a new person for that position. And we were lucky enough to find, I like to call her one of our own. And what I mean by that, coming from North Mason, I'll let her share a little bit on that. But Lacey Newman comes to us and started on June 1st in the position that Jeremy previously held. It's a little bit of a reincarnation where it's more on the focus on the community than it is the fire marshal stuff. But just super happy to have Lacey on board.
Lacey, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm actually from Belfair. I grew up here, and my dad was a volunteer here just about 20 years ago, back when it was District 2.
Wow.
And then my sister volunteered here as well. So I kind of grew up playing the patient for a lot of drills and everything. I grew up around this fire station. I myself didn't exactly feel the calling that they did initially. So I went off to college and I got my bachelor's degree in psychology with minors in family studies and sociology. And I actually went off and became a flight attendant. So I had been doing that for 6 years. And through the flight attendant work, I wound up dealing with some medical emergencies that passengers would have, and realized maybe I actually kind of did have that same niche as other members of my family. So I went ahead and started volunteering for Central Kitsap Fire and Rescue, and volunteered there for about 1.5 years as an EMT. And then they offered me a full-time position as a firefighter EMT. Unfortunately, I did get injured in Fire Academy and wasn't able to recover from that injury. So I'm going to have surgery soon to recover from that. But now I was fortunate enough to get picked up in emergency prevention here at North Mason. So
I'm just thinking about some of the things that you would do out in the public, and I can imagine some of that higher education can really key in on some of those things, especially with the outreach and talking with folks that are in situations with heightened stress and unsure scenarios.
yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of, when I went and got my bachelor's degree, I wasn't exactly sure what field I would end up in, but I just knew that whatever career I was going to have, I was going to be involving helping people and working hand in hand with people. So that was kind of my focus then, and now it's, I think, going to really pay off. So,
Beau, I know you do a lot of outreach in general, and so this will just continue on with that. I'm thinking about the life jacket programs, or the smoke detector exchanges and things like this. This is going to be a real chance for folks to be reacquainted with Lacey, who's got family, growing up, to see her back representing North Mason, but really able to connect with more members of that community up there.
Yeah, one of the things, and Lacey showed up for her first day of work. She was here for about 5 minutes, and before we could even give her the keys and the code to the front door, we said, we've got a job for you. And I know Jeremy in the past has probably talked a little bit about our safety days, where we go into the schools here in North Mason, and we partner with law enforcement and with MACECOM and different partners to provide safety stations where we take about 1,100 kids and walk them through these safety stations. Obviously, with schools not being in session, we weren't able to do that this year, but we had a kind of a community coalition get together along with Mason County Public Health that said, hey, we see a lot of different trends. How about we take safety days and we make it virtual this year? And so Lacey was tasked with that within 5 minutes of coming in the door for her first day. And within a week, she took our safety days and made it virtual. We had 5 different safety video station scenarios that she ended up filming and putting together and choreographing. And we got those out within a week to the students that are here in North Mason. She did a phenomenal job.
I'd imagine too that this helps reach the rest of the schools throughout the whole of Mason County too. You can team up with the other districts.
We absolutely, and also too, we ended up pushing it out on our social media sites. I believe that we're up to about 11,000 views, so we know that's hitting more than just the kids in the school that are in just North Mason districts. So I think that we're seeing like a lot of shifts. This might be another one where we expand our reach. We certainly want to target our kids that are in our schools locally, but if we can expand that reach, let's jump on that.
Well, let's talk about more expansion in the Northeastern Regional Fire Authority. We have the coming on board soon, the new campus. You and the sheriff's office are kind of working together. What's the progress?
Yeah, so we ended up passing the bond to fund the station and the emergency management campus here in North Mason back in November. And one of the things folks rightfully think that, you pass the bond and just a couple of days later the fire station's going up. And there's a lot of background work that has to happen, which we have been working on every day since the bond passed. And that's included getting a bond sale, which we got an historic low interest rate when we went to our bond sale. It was just as the pandemic was kicking in and the markets crashed. We don't like seeing markets crash, but we tried to make a little bit of lemonade out of lemons by selling our bonds at that time, and ended up saving us over the course of the bonds about $1.5 million for taxpayers. So we struck gold with the timing on that. And then the next process is that we're going to go through what's known as the design build delivery method. And we're going to be the third fire district in the state that does that. So we're blazing a little bit of a trail. But it allows us to sit down. Normally you would go out and you'd have a designer. The designer puts together a plan. You then take that out to bid, and a contractor has got to bid on that plan. There's no discussion. There's no being able to figure out costs, trying to reduce costs. And in the design build process, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to go out and have the contractor, the architect, and us all sitting around the table at the exact same time. So the contractor, or excuse me, the architect might say, hey, here's an idea for this particular portion of the building. And the contractor might say, yeah, we can build that. Here's how we do it a little bit more efficient. That wouldn't happen if there was a build process, but there would be, we can have those conversations in this process. So we just selected our design team last week. I say a design build team last week. They're an outstanding outfit that has has designed over 300 fire stations. So they have a tremendous amount of fantastic portfolio. We're going to be sitting down on the 24th, so that's actually next Wednesday, and figuring out what this building is ultimately going to look like. We've got a pretty good idea. We did quite a bit of design work back when the bond first came together in November. It's really rounding out that work, and we anticipate within a couple of months of getting that design work done, we've got steel coming out of the ground and we're getting this thing underway. And of course, we're still in constant talk with the sheriff's office and with the DEM. They'll be moving into our existing fire station, so we'll be right next door to them. We'll have one emergency management campus where we've got all of our public safety partners working together, and I'm super excited about it.
That's great news, and more news to share coming up. We're going to put a pause on it right now, but when we check back in with you guys, we'll find out how the progress on that is going and some other things as we move through the summer. And a very busy time all across Mason County, so a reminder that the great folks at North Mason are there to assist if there is any issues or emergencies. Lacey, it was nice to talk with you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
Beau, good to see you, bud.
Same you, and I guarantee I'll have a haircut the next time we connect. Okay.
It's a great idea. Great idea. All right, then you guys have a good one. We'll check in next time.
Thanks, Jeff.